What's up guys, Alex here. I run a six-figure agency and today I'm going to show you the best way to get high-ticket clients through LinkedIn. So I'm going to go over the three-part strategy that has been landing me a ton of really high-level clients. And this strategy is really simple and it involves the next three things. Number one, content, which is going to establish our credibility. Number two, we're going to run a connection request campaign. And then number three, we are going to also be running InMail campaigns. So LinkedIn, I would consider to be my secondary platform, my primary platform being Twitter, obviously, but LinkedIn does get me on calls with a bunch of really high quality leads. So I do highly recommend you also hop on LinkedIn. As you may or may not know, LinkedIn is a little bit different than say Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Number one, LinkedIn is a lot more formal than all the other platforms. And there are a couple concepts that I do need to get into before I actually show you the three-part strategy that I use to get really high quality clients from LinkedIn. Okay. And so the first concept I want to go over is the connection request. Okay. The connection request, you can think of these as friend requests, but on LinkedIn, you can only privately message people with whom you're connected. Okay. With that being said, it's not like Facebook, it's not like Twitter, it's not like Instagram, where if you have your DMs open, anyone can message you. On LinkedIn, you can only message people with whom you're connected, okay? Which is why one of our best strategies to use on LinkedIn is the connection request campaign. That being said, we do have InMails, which is messaging for people with whom you're not connected. There are limits to InMails, but there are ways to get around that, if you will, which I am going to show you on step number two, okay? So number one, we've got connection requests. Number two, we've got InMails. And then number three, I also want to get into Sales Navigator, okay? Sales Navigator is basically a database of LinkedIn users that you can use to scrape leads from, to import leads into your LinkedIn campaigns, and it just makes everything really easy. I would say LinkedIn is by far the easiest platform to scrape leads on like social media outreach, period. Sales Nav is amazing. It really gives you a ton of filters, and I am going to show you guys how I use it, okay? So stay tuned for that. All right, so now I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into the first part of the three-part strategy, which is content to establish our credibility, okay? All right, so for step number one, we are going to focus on content. But before we get into content, we need to optimize our profile. So how do we optimize our profile for LinkedIn? Step number one, we need to take a look at our profile picture. All it has to do is it has to be clear, okay? And you want it to be a picture of your face so people know who you are. And ideally, you want it to be really close to what your profile pictures are on all other platforms, okay? So this is literally exactly the same profile picture that I have on my Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, obviously, YouTube, everywhere. And this picture is a picture of me from about 4 to 5 years ago, but I just like the picture for whatever reason. It brings back really good memories. But yeah, that's just the picture. You just want it to be clear, and as long as it has your face in it, you are going to be good. Your cover photo, okay? I highly recommend, again, you keep it clean, and you also want it to convey a message. This isn't super mandatory because some of the really big people don't convey a message through their cover photo, but people know who they are, so I guess that's why it works. But what I did is I just went to Canva. So let me open up my Canva real quick so I can show you. So all you have to do is you want to come to Canva, right? And then you want to go to LinkedIn background photo. And that's it. Literally, that's it. It's going to give you a bunch of templates. So just do whatever you want it to say. You don't need to like worry about the size and stuff because we already have like the specific LinkedIn banner size. So I would just make it super simple. As you saw, mine is literally just text and then my logo. So yeah, it's not rocket science. Just make it look nice. Okay. That's it. That's all we need. Again, your name, you want it to be the same on all other platforms, and then your bio. So on bio, there are a couple different opinions, right? I personally just say what I do, but some people do recommend that you try to blend in with your target audience. Why? Because when we're doing the connection request, you want them to actually accept your request. Some of them won't accept your request if they see or if they sense that you are going to want to sell something to them. So a good idea might be to actually just try to blend in with your target audience and act as if you're one of them, right? To get the connection request accepted. And then once you're in, you will pitch them, obviously. Okay. Followers and connections, really don't worry too much about this. What I personally did was I basically just deleted everyone that I had, as in everyone from like my high school and my university. So I started at like just a few connections connections. And then through the campaigns that I'm going to show you how to run here on step 2 and 3 is how I got all these connections and followers. And it will take some time, but you'll get there. So don't even worry about it. Something I do highly recommend you did was add your company's actual name and logo. And you can do this literally, all you need to do is you just need to search how to add your business to LinkedIn. It's going to be the first link. Create a LinkedIn company page. You're going to click on this and then it's going to send you directly right here. And then you click create your page and then you're going to have a page within the next 3 minutes. Okay. And then once you have that, you're just going to scroll all the way down to experience. And then this is where you're going to add it. And then it's going to get automatically added to the top of your profile. I also have my university. Don't really know pros and cons of having or not having your university. So my university is Mexico City, which is why, and I am based out of Mexico City right now. That is why I have Mexico City and then my university right there. I also have a link to, it's supposed to be linked to my website, but it's actually a link to my YouTube. So I just like sending people to my YouTube, right? So that they get familiar with my content, right? Hopefully then to hop on a call or whatever it might be. And then let's see what else we've got. Something that's really, really important is the featured section. Okay. So right here in the featured section, I have 2 things. Number 1, I have a whole 12-page document going over exactly how we do what we do with a ton of case studies as well. And so people, whenever I reach out to them, they can come into my profile and then they can see exactly what it is that we do with results. So it just increases the perceived likelihood of achievement by a ton. So I have a link to a Google Doc right here. And then I have a post, a featured post, which is actually part of the other document I just mentioned. And it's just it's just a Q&A going over the most common objections I have. And I highly, highly recommend you add the same thing. And what I see a lot of people do here in the featured is also add testimonials or like case studies, which is kind of what I'm doing here with this document. It has a bunch of case studies, but you can just add more. Okay. And then in regards to the actual content side of things, what I personally do is I directly repurpose all the content that I'm putting out for Twitter into LinkedIn. And I do that through Hype Fury, which I highly recommend you guys get. You can also get some cheaper options like Social Pilot, which is the one I use for some other accounts, not my personal account on Twitter, but you can use that and you can connect a ton of accounts to a ton of different social platforms, right? So Social Pilot is a really good scheduler. I do recommend you just take a day and you just schedule out your posts. It just makes everything easier. It'll just help you be more consistent. Okay. So if you schedule out your posts, you set aside a day or a couple hours a day or whatever it may be, put out your content. Why? Because content will make you reappear on the timeline. It'll make the people that you connect with through our connection request campaign see you over and over again. Again, they're going to see your profile picture. They'll be like, okay, this guy's putting out a ton of content. You do want your content to be really, really valuable to your target audience so that once they see it, they'll be intrigued and then they'll click on your profile and then they will be nurtured by everything else that we have in here to then hopefully get them to book a call with you or at least make it more likely for them to answer your messages once you send them over. I do have a really short about page or about section, right? And then in terms of my experience, I have my current company and then I have another 2 positions that I had when I used to work at 2 different law firms. I have my education, right? So I have my high school and then I did a year in Japan. So this school in Japan and then the law school that I currently go to. One final thing you do want to take note of is this right here. So LinkedIn Premium, I think is like $90 a month. And I do highly recommend you get it. Okay. You will get the LinkedIn Premium badge once you get Sales Navigator, which will appear up here. And I highly, highly recommend you get it. And more for the look because it just shows that you are taking your stuff seriously. And it just makes people, in my eyes, a little bit more likely to actually answer. Okay. Why? Because they'll be like, okay, at least this guy's not broke. He's spending an extra almost $100 just on LinkedIn, right? And it gives you Sales Nav, which is a must if you're doing LinkedIn outreach. So yeah, that is pretty much it in terms of what I'm doing here on LinkedIn. What I am going to start doing, right? Which I can't really talk too much about what should be done if it's not what I'm doing, but what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to keep having my tweets pop up on my LinkedIn feed, but then I'm also going to do longer form content for LinkedIn. And I'm going to start posting at least 1 long form piece of content per day to LinkedIn to further nurture all my connections, right? Honestly, I think that is what everyone should be doing. So I took that from this this guy right here, Sean Anthony, is a beast. So I highly recommend you guys check him out. And he does the 2 pieces of content per day on LinkedIn, right? So highly recommend. We all did that, honestly, because I also need to step my game up and do that. So another thing I would highly recommend you guys did was look at who the authorities in your space are and then just try to emulate their profile. So for example, in my case, I just showed you guys Sean Anthony. And so something I would do is just go into these people's profiles and then see kind of what they're doing and then emulate what they're doing, right? Because if they're doing it, it's obviously working. So here he has a YouTube video, he has the link to his website, another website, and then another YouTube video, and then a bunch of content. So 11 hours, 1 day, 2 days. And so that is pretty much what you want to be doing to get the most of your LinkedIn profile. So once we have an optimized profile, now we can actually get into the good stuff and start automating some outreach on LinkedIn. All right, so the automation that I use personally is called Dripify. I honestly haven't used any others other than Wallexy, which I don't really recommend anymore. I would just either recommend you guys went with Dripify. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. Or I have also heard really good things of WeConnect. And if you go into the pricing, it's actually $30 cheaper, or depending on what package you get, than Dripify. So I mean, if you are on a budget, then I would also recommend you went with WeConnect. Okay, but for the time being, and I'm guessing these are really similar. I haven't tried WeConnect, but all the LinkedIn automations are pretty much the same thing. So I'm just going to show you how I do it for Dripify, and then you can pretty much emulate the same thing for all the other automations as well. So let's get right into how to run automated outreach on LinkedIn. So once you open Dripify, you're going to want to click on new campaign. So you want to go to campaigns and the new campaign, and then it is going to ask you to add leads. Okay, so that is exactly what you're going to do. We're going to click on add leads, and then we're going to have to give the list of leads a name. But before we get into that, I actually want to go back to LinkedIn and then open up Sales Nav. If you don't have Sales Nav, if you've never had it, then I would recommend you got the free trial, and it just gives you everything free for a month, I'm pretty sure. So take advantage of it. And the nice thing is all we have to do is search for our leads in here, and then we can just paste the link and it'll start automatically adding the leads in there. So there's no need to do anything else. What I would personally do, say we are targeting other marketing agencies. Okay, so I would go here in the search and I would do marketing agency, and this is what I do. This is what works for me. Okay, I'm not the LinkedIn expert. If you look up marketing agency, then you're pretty much just going to get people that either work at marketing agencies or that have marketing agency somewhere on their profile, but that's not it, right? As you can see, we have 3 million results, which is way too much. So we always want to narrow these searches down at least 2.5, because 2.5K is the most that we can import to these campaigns. All right, so with that being said, let's go back to Sales Navigator. And what I personally do is I first go to company type, and then you can either do, really depends on who you're looking for, but that is so I would say privately held, right? So there we go, from 3 million all the way down to 1 million. Company headquarters location, ideally the US, right? Again, it depends on who you're looking for. The US. Geography, again, right here, you want to go for United States. There we go. So now from 3 million, we have our search all the way down to 490K. Current job title, here you can do a couple different things. You can do the typical, right? You can do owner, you can do founder, you can do co-founder, whatever it is, or whoever it is that you are searching for, you can add their current job title in there. And then you can also exclude a couple others if you wanted to do that. And that is pretty much what I do. Something that honestly will make or break your search is this right here. So you want to go to Spotlight, and then some people really swear by change jobs in the last 90 days. That one's really good. But then honestly, my favorite one is posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. So this will get our search down to 19K. And then let's see if we add the change jobs. So that's going to get it down to 2.5, which is 20. It's going to add people. That's right. So I'm just going to go with that, right? For a lot of people, this means that these are people that are actively looking for services, right? Because they just changed their jobs. They either want to make an impact at the company they're working for. And so for a lot of people, this is a really good filter. I personally like posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. And then one I did forget to talk about is the company head count. So again, self-employed, 1 to 10, whatever it may be. For this example, we're going to do self-employed. Why? Because we have 3K results and we can only upload 2.5K. So that is pretty much perfect. And then once we have our search, again, I highly encourage you to just play around with this. It really will depend on your specific niche. But again, it's really, really simple. You just want to know which ones are good filters. These, honestly, in my opinion, are the most important, other than obviously the main search and then the geography. But yeah, those are the main ones you want to be looking for. And then once we have that, so we're going to take the link, right? And then we're going to paste it in here, and then we're going to name it. We are going to do US, we're going to do solo, and we're going to do max. Create list, and there we go. So now the list is going to start importing. As you can see, US solo marketing agency, 2.5K leads. Do next. And then here, I would recommend you guys did a custom campaign so you can add the template that I'm about to share with you guys, right? So I'm actually going to open up one of my templates to show you guys, and then you guys can do it in just a custom template. That way you guys start from scratch, and then you can add or remove whatever it is that you want. I'm just going to show you what I'm currently sending out. All right, so this is my current connection request campaign, right? And then this is what is going to get you all those connections. So basically what we're doing is we are viewing the profile, we are liking a post, and then 1 hour later, we are sending an invite. And then the invite, which is the connection request, you don't really want to add a personalized note to it. So you just want to send it, right? And then you're going to have a sequence if they don't accept it, and then you're going to have a sequence if they do accept it. So if they accept it 1 hour later, 1 day later, we are going to send them a message. If they don't answer 1 day after that, we're going to endorse a skill. 2 days after that, we're going to send them another follow-up message. 1 day after that, we're going to like a post. 2 days later, message. 3 days, view profile. 1 day, like post. 1 day, message. 5 days, view profile. 1 day, message. And then after that, if they don't answer, then they don't want anything to do with you, okay? But then if they don't accept your connection request, right, what we can do is we can do things to try to get them to notice us so that they do accept the connection request. And then once they accept the connection request, they'll be sent down this path right here. So they send an invite, we wait a day, right? If they still don't respond, we're going to view their profile. If they still haven't accepted our request, 2 days later, we're going to like a post. 3 days, we're going to view their profile. 1 day later, we're going to like their post. 2 days later, we're going to view their post. 5 days, like post. 2 days, view profile. And then 3 days later, the campaign will end, okay? And so once they accept the invitation or the connection request, then they will get sent over here. The message I am currently sending, I got once again from Sean Anthony. All right, so this is the current LinkedIn script that we are using for connection requests, and this is working really, really well. So this script I based off of a video made by Sean Anthony that I will link down below in the description. And so his whole philosophy is lead with value. So once again, this document right here is the document that I previously mentioned that is featured on my profile that shows people how to add a 6-figure Twitter-powered client acquisition system into their business in 30 days. And so it's literally just teaching people how to make more money. And so leading with value, people usually are cool with that, obviously, and most people aren't doing it this way. So the odds of you getting positive replies are really, really high, or a lot higher once you lead with value than if you were just pitching like everyone else, okay? But that is only for LinkedIn, because sending links anywhere else won't really get you great results. But since we are already connected with these guys, then there's really no problem with sending links on LinkedIn. And then that is pretty much it for the connection request campaign. Now we're going to get into the InMail campaign, okay? Honestly, this one is super, super exciting for me because not very many people are doing InMail campaigns. They are a bit trickier to do, so I'm going to show you how to do them. So we are going to go back to where it says add leads, or just create a new campaign, right? You can run multiple campaigns on Dripify, which is great. So we can be running more than 2, right? But what I typically do is I have my LinkedIn connection request campaign running, and then on the other hand, I also have the InMail campaign running. So we click on next, and then we're going to go back to templates. And then again, you want to do custom campaign, but then you're going to want to copy my template that I'm about to show you. All right, here we go. So how you want to add leads is pretty much the same thing. You do want to have different lists for InMail and for your regular connection request. So you are going to want to go back to LinkedIn Sales Nav and then scrape another list, right? And then once you have your other list, you want to add the leads, and then you are going to click on a custom campaign. And then this is kind of what you're going to want to do. So right off the bat, we are going to send out an InMail instead instead of the connection request. Okay, so this is really similar to what we are doing on Twitter. We are just talking about how to monetize your LinkedIn and Twitter. We've got an automated way to monetize your LinkedIn and Twitter that's generate over 100K in revenue for our clients. So it's set up for you. Interested? We guarantee 2x ROI monthly, right? So we're going to save that. And then that's the InMail. Like I said at the beginning, so InMails are really, really special on LinkedIn. You can send InMails to basically anyone. And there are limits in terms of how many InMails you can send, but my way of doing unlimited InMails is to just send out to people that have open profiles, okay? Because if you're only sending out to people with open profiles, you have unlimited InMails. I'm pretty sure you need to have LinkedIn Premium, so as long as you have LinkedIn Sales Nav, you will be able to do this. So this is a way of doing unlimited InMails, which no one is talking about, honestly. But yeah, unlimited InMails to open profiles is what we are going to be doing. So once again, we're going to send out the InMail, and then once they respond to the InMail, we're going to send out an invite to connect, right? And then after that, we're not going to send out any messages, because at this point they have responded to the InMail, meaning that they are already having a conversation with them. So if they don't accept the InMail, we are going to go into basically a connection request campaign. They haven't responded to the InMail, we're going to send a connection request, which is an invite, the equivalent of a friend request, and then they accept, we're going to send them a message, view the profile, like post. If they don't accept, view profile, like post, etc., 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 just to get them to either reply or accept the connection request. All right. And then before I let you go, this is the most important step when doing InMail campaigns. Okay. So this right here, you want to read this super carefully. So it says, do not add a lead to the campaign if, then we're going to say same leads found in other campaigns, recommended, have that one, same leads found in campaigns of your team members. That's whatever. But this one right here does not have open profile. So it says, do not add a lead to the campaign if does not have an open profile. So if we read this in the positive sense, it would be add lead to campaign if they have an open profile. So this means this is only gonna add people to the campaign with open profiles, right? And what that means is we're going to be sending an unlimited amount of InMails. Why? Because we're only gonna be adding people to that campaign who have open profiles, and we have unlimited InMails for people with open profiles. So it's an untapped hack that literally no one is talking about, and it is kind of confusing just because of how they word it, or at least to me, right? It was at the beginning. But just make sure you have this clicked, selected, and then after that you do save and launch, and you are golden. So that is pretty much it for today. If you want me to personally set up your LinkedIn and Twitter outreach, just click the link below, book a call, and we will get you sorted. Okay. I also have a link down below to my free Twitter DM masterclass, which I highly recommend you check out. And yeah, that is pretty much it. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter or in the comment section down below, and I will speak to you soon. Peace.